Okay, this hearing is from January 23rd, 2020. I mentioned the contractual agreement that someone was working on in another video.
We are on the record. Today's date is January 23rd of 2020, and we are present at Summa St. Thomas Hospital in regards to case number 2020 MI-18 in the matter of Victoria Oliver. Present today on behalf of the Summit County ADM Board is Attorney Barry Ward. Also present today from Summa St. Thomas is Dr. Wilkie. The respondent, Victoria Oliver, is present, and she is represented by Attorney Joe Perry, and we are present today for an initial hearing. Ms. Oliver, obviously you have the right to be here today, and you have the right to counsel. Attorney Perry's been appointed for you, and I understand that you spoke to him yesterday.
Correct.
You have the right to a private hearing. Everybody here is necessary for the hearing to proceed, so it is a private hearing. You have the right to an independent expert evaluation, and I know you discussed that with Attorney Perry yesterday. Today you do have the right to provide testimony, and at the appropriate time I will give you an opportunity to briefly tell us what you want to tell us. Okay? Attorney Ward?
Thank you. I'll call Dr. Wilkie.
Dr. Wilkie, do you swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Doc, please state your name and occupation.
Todd Wilkie, MD, psychiatrist.
Mr. Perry, usual stipulations, please. Yes. Doctor, the patient, Victoria Oliver, when was she admitted?
She was admitted on the 18th of January,
Briefly,
2020.
and briefly, Doctor, what was the history?
A staff member from SUMA called police to pick her up because she sent some documents, and the documents are full of a lot of paranoid thoughts and statements. She believes the government is after her, has chips planted in her brain. They're trying to...
I never word any of that like that. You see how they all say the same thing. But anyhow, that's not what I was about to say. I was about to say that he's going to admit to not reading it, just like she will admit to not reading the complaint. They conveniently found these two areas come at the end of those complaints where I mentioned if I had a weapon, I'd kill someone.
As part of some eugenics process, it can go on and on. I mean, there's demon possession involved. But the most troubling thing was in her statement, it said, quote, "Before you turn against one another, turn against the government, show up everywhere they exist, damage their property and harm them, but do not kill them. That's for me," end quote. And that was the big one that the Sherry, who's like a grievance management coordinator, initiated the call to the police and brought in.
So what is her diagnosis?
I would say her diagnosis is paranoid schizophrenia.
The current symptoms?
Are the paranoid delusions. Right now she's pretty well organized, but I think when she came in, there was some disorganized thought. Some of this voluminous stuff is fairly disorganized.
Okay. So have you offered her medications?
Yes.
What have you offered?
Invega, and she's taking it.
Okay. She's taking it orally now?
Yes.
Do you plan to switch to it as systemic
I would
form?
like to switch to the Invega Sustenna.
Okay. Despite her compliance, there's been little, if any, improvement?
No, she still believes very intensely in all these paranoid delusions and that. But she has also been pleasant and cooperative and not hostile or anything. I don't think she needs to be here that long, but wouldn't mind maybe getting her on the Invega Sustenna and, having her follow up as an outpatient.
Okay. Dr.
Let me tell you something. These motherfuckers be tearing me the fuck up with science, okay? My skin, my weight, my appearance, like my energy. They're attacking my DNA in a very obvious manner. And they're denying physical harm. I got hundreds of pictures of this shit.
She was residing prior to admission?
I'm not sure. I think she had her own place, but but we're not even sure. And, she wouldn't tell us a lot of details about.
They removed me from my home, but you're not sure if I had a place.
Okay.
But she even thinks that like her family have been replaced by imposters and stuff, and she doesn't have contact with family, so we can't get collateral information or anything.
All right, so what's the plan then if you're going to discharge her? Where would she go, I guess?
We would have to figure someplace out, either like respite or something, if she doesn't have a place.
All right. Does she have a history of other psychiatric admissions?
Yes, she was admitted in September.
So recall, I said that they were trying to align 2020 for this contractual agreement, 2020's activity with 2018. Part of aligning that activity was acting like I was homeless and didn't have a place to stay. And one day when he showed up and when he saw my address, he said, "Oh, you stay in the Firestone Park area too." He stays in the Firestone Park area. The next day when I mentioned it, he didn't have any recall of it. He was like, no, I didn't say that.
2018 with a similar presentation.
I'm telling you, where the cameras need to be is in the room where they're giving treatment, so-called treatment and counseling. That's where the cameras need to be. Because they say a lot of shit in those rooms that they have no business saying.
And she was placed on commitment. She saw the psychiatrist once, received one injection at CSS, and just dropped out of treatment.
Okay, so that's another lie. I fulfilled my commitment, my 90-day program. And you heard him just say I dropped out of treatment. And this is after I combated this already before court, when we meet like ever so often for 2 minutes. He was trying to say that I had a history of non-compliance, and I do not.
I take it then she's not ever been reinitiated with CSS, and she's
she's been untreated completely.
Right. So then let's talk a little bit about the risk of harm. Are you concerned about her own safety of others?
Real quick, before he talks about risk of harm, this is conspiring. He told me he didn't think that I was a risk to myself or anyone else. We went over some things like, do you have a pistol, this, that, and any other? And I'm like, no. And he was like, well, I honestly don't see any reason to keep you here. He said, I don't see any reason to keep you here. And he said, I'm going to let you go tomorrow. So that's what he said before he spoke with the director. When the director found out that he was going to release me without any action, that's when the shit started. And so then they were trying to do this like little backdoor thing, where they were like, okay, well, if you just sign right here, you can start services with CSS and do a 90-day civil commitment. But that's the back door. There wouldn't be anything on record. I wouldn't have an argument on record. So this is how we ended up here.
Is it a combination of both, given these delusional thoughts and letters?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of risk that she may act on some paranoid delusions.
After he said he didn't believe.
I think that was my concern for that.
Let me tell you something. While in the room, while the hearing is taking place, they will do anything to get their way, and they will say anything to get their way. Everything that he's saying conflicts with the conversations that we've had outside of that room.
That is a little less now that I've seen her for a couple days, but that, it's definitely there. There's a chance of it, and she made the statement, so.
Okay. So the plan is continue her on the Invega. assuming she remains compliant, should be discharged relatively soon.
Yeah,
Follow at CSS, along with a commitment to the local board for a period of 90 days.
correct,
Does
yeah.
she have any insight at all into her illness?
No.
None. And what's your opinion regarding her prognosis?
I would say it's guarded just because of, the poor insight and very resisted treatment before.
Fair enough. I have nothing further, thank you.
Doctor, I want to be clear. The only actual threat we have was via that letter that you read that was sent to a government official,
Correct, yes.
Okay.
It was sent to government offices.
and you received that from another doctor who forwarded it to you?
Yeah, from someone that coordinator who works here at SUMA, the grievance coordinator.
Okay,
She was making a grievance about the doctor she saw last time for making the wrong diagnosis. But also, I think her motivation was she wanted people to know about all this that was happening to her.
okay. So she had a motivation that was not necessarily to harm others, but to let people know what was happening with her?
Correct, yeah, I think that was her main objective, yeah.
Okay, and you've indicated that since she's been here, you believe that her risk of harm to others has been alleviated somewhat?
Yeah, I think so, but I think and part of it might have to do with that she's been treatment and everything. She's always denied that she would actually hurt people.
Okay. So even though, again, you have that one isolated written
Except for the
threat,
government.
she's never at any point voiced to you she wants to hurt that person or anyone else?
No.
Okay, and you've asked her about that letter?
You're correct, yeah.
Okay, and she's shown no ability, as far as you know, to act upon what she said in the letter?
No, I don't think so. Like ability meaning access to firearms?
Exactly, yes.
She gave me no indication that she has access to firearms.
Okay, and she has not continued those same ways of thinking since she's been here?
Oh, she still believes everything, all the delusions.
You fucking
all
right.
what she believes is happening to her.
Okay, well, again, that's two separate issues. What's happening to her is her belief, but that risk of harm to others is no longer the case, right?
Yes, she has not been repeating that, that kind of statement.
Okay. Now, you said she had no insight, but it seems like she is taking medication now, Invega, at least, and she believes that she needs that medication?
I think she's taking it just because we are giving it to her and she thinks she needs to take it.
Okay.
As part of getting out of the hospital.
So she thinks she needs to take it, and she has not told you she will not take it when she does leave?
She did it, I think she indicated to some staff that she's not sure if she's gonna take it. She probably won't take it. when she
That
leaves.
never happened.
Have you voiced with her that if it's a court order, then she's required to take it per the order of the court?
I think I told her that part of the commitment is that she's expected by the court to come in for treatment, and that would include the medicine.
Okay. And she's no risk of harm to herself at this point?
No, I don't think a risk to herself, no.
Okay. Is there a need at this point, doctor? I guess not, but a need for forced medications?
No, I don't think, she's taking the oral meds. I'm gonna ask her if she would take the shot, and, we'll go from there, and she is calm and cooperative and everything, so it's not somebody that I would, force to take a shot. I would rather she work with me,
Sure.
and
Which it seems like she's doing at this point. She's taking the medication, right? She's not making those same threats to others as you said earlier.
yeah. Ideally, I would, if I could get her to agree to take the shot, we could probably get her out, early next week, Monday, Tuesday.
And she knows that?
She knows it now. I'm
Okay,
telling her.
okay. So if she took a shot today, she may get out early next week.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's all I have.
I do not, thank you.
Victoria, you have a right to tell the court what you want to tell the court. You've heard the doctor's testimony. You certainly have the right to forego the hearing, take the shot, be out next week, or you can continue having your hearing if you want with the magistrate.
I'd like to continue. Okay, I've expressed that I've been attacked politically, meaning that anytime that I end up at St. Thomas Hospital, it's not by disruptive or, corrupt behavior. It's always by a police officer or a covert professional. I've only been here twice. The first time it was because the officer lied on me, and the doctor lied on my affidavit. And instead, the judge still ruled against for objection over treatment because I mentioned RFID chip implants. This visit, I contacted Sherry Eichhorn with a request that she put this information on file. What I have here is 2 complaints. This one was written to government officials, November. I think probably I finished this around the 6th. They received it on the 12th. It was addressed to 6 different agencies. They have not responded, and I feel that if they have not shown or expressed the issue with it, what gives Akron the authority to? Now, that one wasn't in question. This is the one that I was brought in regarding. This is the one that was addressed to the mayor, and in this one, there was a statement that said, I'll read it to you verbatim. It says that if I had a pistol, I'd kill someone and get out the same day because I am who I say I am and too many crimes have been committed against me. That's what it says. Anyone who read this complaint or that complaint in its entirety will understand how I came to that conclusion. Neither of Sherry Eichhorn nor Dr. Wilkie has read these complaints in their entirety. What they did was they went through it and they found 2 statements, 2 of 3 threatening statements towards the government, and said that it's a substantial risk.
Victoria, do you have any desire to act upon those letters and harm Sherry Eichhorn, anyone else?
No, these are actually for future reference, and anyone that read these would know that I'm talking about a revolution. No immediate action, no threat or harm to anyone. The second thing was on the current affidavit. In box 1, it says that there was a substantial risk. Substantial means considerable, like a large amount in size or worth. And I think that of 92 pages, this is 92 pages total, the 2 complaints, the 3 statements that are in here are nothing regarding all the damage that's been done to me. I've been tortured for 2.5 years, and that's been completely disregarded and neglected. No one's given it any attention, and no one has read, like I said. Yeah, it has a lot of details in it. It has proof of physical damage, intel surrounding stolen things like devices and SD cards. Those things were stolen with physics. So that means not, by physically removing it off the table. Does everyone know how physics work? What can be accomplished with it? Okay. Something like a chief constituent, you have to be in place in order to, a magic trick.
Victoria, do you have any desire to continue taking the medication that the doctor has asked you to do, even when you leave the hospital here?
No, but I will comply.
Okay.
And as I expressed to you yesterday, I wanted to stay on the pill because it scarred my arm.
Okay. So you're not willing to take the injection, but you'll stay on the pill even when you leave?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to stipulate to that and forego a hearing, or do you want to continue and make the magistrate make a decision?
I want to continue. Okay,
Just to let you know, ma'am, I don't know how long that statement is.
it's short. I'm
Okay.
almost finished.
Okay.
But go ahead.
No, because
Okay, so I have a piece of paper that I wrote some bullet points on, so I made sure I didn't leave anything that I wanted to put on the record off. And as you can see, it's getting pretty incriminating. They won't even acknowledge the physical damage that's been done to me. We're talking about bodily harm.
if you wanted to submit it, I'm fine with that, but I'm not gonna let you read like a 10-page statement or
Oh,
something.
no,
like that. I didn't know how long
absolutely
it was.
not. I
wanted to
just
say
wrote
that.
this so I wouldn't lose
Sure,
track.
sure.
The second thing, the second check mark does not pertain to me at all. Dr. Wilkie's intent was to claim line item B, where the second check mark is. And I informed him, and now he'll probably claim C. But the box states that you have to have evidence of all the following. And then in the written part of the statement, Dr. Ricky claims that on the affidavit that I'm paranoid and delusional. These are the topics that I talk about in short. I'm sorry I don't have a better presentation, but
You want that?
And if you ask Dr. Wilkie or Sherry,
Okay, so what I handed him was a list, a plain list, about 50 items, 50 topics that I discussed. They're all scientific terms.
just to name two of those,
No, thank you.
and, you know, what they,
The document speaks for itself.
read regarding it, they wouldn't have anything to tell you. That's our magistrate.
Anything further, Attorney General?
That's all I have.
Anything further, Attorney Moore?
No, sir, thank you.
At this point, I'm going to take the matter under advisement. I'd like to have an opportunity just to take a look at the documents that you submitted before I issue a decision. But I will be issuing a decision probably sometime later this afternoon. Okay?
Okay, good luck, Victoria.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doctor.
Thanks, Doctor.
I ask that you read the description of this video because there's something else that I want to note right now, but I need to make sure that I arrange the words the right way, so I'm going to write it instead.